Have you ever wondered how people survive on less than $2,000 a month? I did used to live on less than $2,000 a month, but it was a very long time ago. So I was wondering recently if I had to do it all over again and live on less than $2,000 a month now here in 2025, would it be possible? Would we be able to afford anything, especially with the cost of housing these days? And would we have any fun at all?
No fun. Pay with you. No fun.
And in my research, what I learned is many of the frugal habits that I learned back in my mid 20s and very early 30s would definitely still apply today here in 2025. So today I'm going to share with you 6 extremely frugal living habits that I have used myself in the past that can help you not only to survive, but to thrive even here in 2025. Now, quick disclaimer, my friends, I don't live on less than $2,000 a month anymore. I'm not in that income bracket at this stage of my life, but I do have firsthand experience with pretty much every single tip I'm going to be giving to you today. I just want you to know that these are not just some tips I've picked up off the internet or read in an article. These are things that I have lived myself and I understand it. So if you're in this situation, whatever reason you're living on less than $2,000 a month, I think these tips can really help you. But remember, the goal is not to stay here forever. This topic is pretty personal to me, even now, as I have 2 grown adults who have moved out of the house, trying to learn how to pay their bills and live a fun life and progress on an extremely low income. So for my oldest 2 kids, this is also for them. So online, you can find the United States poverty line for a family of 4 is sitting at $32,000 a year, which actually is just a hair over $15 an hour. So if you're making $15 an hour and you're working 40 hours a week, all 52 weeks of the year, your gross income is actually less than that. It's $31,400 a year. So you can see that trying to live off of $15 an hour is going to be very tight, especially if you have a family relying on you. Now, you're gonna have to take some things out of that, some taxes, maybe some health insurance, so you'll be a little bit less than that. So let's say you're close to $2,000 a month. That's what we have to work with. We will kick it off with the 2 most important things. You gotta live somewhere and you gotta eat. So housing and food. Let's do food first because, hi, my name is Christine and I'm only here for the food. I have over 800 videos on this channel right now helping you learn how to shop for groceries a little bit cheaper, save money, cook from scratch, cook at home. I'll leave a couple of those videos down below in the description box. But ideally, you would want your food costs to be 25% or less than your take-home income. So if you are making $2,000 a month, you do not want to spend more than $500 a month on food. And I am sorry to say the best way to go about that is to become an ingredient house. If you see other people buying chips and soda and cookies and ice cream, you're not buying those. Instead, you will be buying pasta and rice and canned tomatoes and some inexpensive proteins. You are buying ingredients to make meals and then you are cooking from scratch at your house. Shopping the sales will go such a long way towards saving you money. I can save 70% off of my grocery bill just by shopping sales and reverse meal planning. All these tips I have talked about extensively in other videos. And if you're really in a pickle, here are some programs that can help you out. WIC, if you are pregnant and or have children under the age of 5, you will qualify for WIC. It's women, infants, and children. They have a very specific list of foods that they give you, but it's actually quite a lot. You can apply for SNAP benefits if you fall under the income requirements, which I have also used. When my husband was student teaching and I was a stay-at-home mom of a baby and we had 0 income coming in and 0 savings, we were on SNAP benefits for about 8 months or so. And that can really go a long way towards helping. If you don't qualify for any of those, you need to check out what you have available locally. This could be family crisis centers, food banks, church food programs. Check out your Facebook buy, sale, trade, or buy nothing groups. See if there's a swapping program. And right now it's actually summertime. And in my area, people are just like giving away all their garden produce. If you want to pick up some free zucchini and cucumbers and make some stuff out of it, you can. They don't want all of it, so they're handing it off. A lot of the information for these, you'll have to look in your local area because they're kind of different wherever you go. But a lot of the ones I'm talking about don't have income requirements. A lot of places will have a program where if you go and volunteer at the food bank, they will gift you a box of food in return. Oh, check in with your local library or school district. They should have all of that information in your area. Now, even when my family was living on $2,000 a month, something that we always tried to fit into our budget was term life insurance. I'm super excited to thank Fabric by Gerber Life for sponsoring today's video. Heaven forbid something had happened to my husband and I had kids at home and we had no savings at all. The financial catastrophe would have been completely overwhelming and very stressful. We've had term life insurance for almost 2 decades now. We've had kids for about that long, and the rates are so low. In fact, it feels like they keep getting lower over time, which is insane. It's the only thing that's gone backwards in price in the last 10 years. Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance you can get done today, made for busy parents like you, all online, on your schedule, right from your couch. You could be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required. My friends, if you have kids, you need term life insurance. Fabric has flexible, high quality policies that fit your life and your family and your budget. And especially if you're young and healthy, you can lock in like the lowest rates you've ever seen in your life right now. And you can get a 20-year policy. That's what we do. And then you don't have to worry about it again for like 20 years. Like about $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. There's no risk. You can cancel at any time, and there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Join the thousands of parents that trust Fabric to help protect their family. You can apply today in minutes. All you have to do is go to meetfabric.com/frugalfitmom. It's the first link down in the doobly-doo below. It's meetfabric, M-E-E-T, fabric.com/frugalfitmom. Life insurance is one of those things that nobody wants to think about, but Fabric makes it easy and quick so you can check it off your list today. Huge thanks to Fabric for sponsoring. Now let's get back to the rest of those frugal living habits. Let's talk housing, arguably the most expensive line item in your budget. So ideally, your housing would be 40% of your take-home income or less. And if you're bringing in $2,000 a month, that's only $800. Now, I don't know about you, but I have seen very little in the way of $800 a month for even renting an apartment, and no way are you buying a house at only $800 a month.
What a dump.
So here are a few ideas. First of all, you can take in a roommate. I actually have a family member that does this a lot.
I mean, it's been kind of quiet since Carol left.
Why don't you just get a roommate?
I think he rents out 2 private rooms with a shared kitchen space and bathroom for $600 a month for each room. That's $1,200 of income, cutting his mortgage. He did buy the house, but cutting his mortgage by a significant amount, like 50%, which is unreal. You could move back in with your family.
My name is George. I'm unemployed and I live with my parents.
Now, this one's not ideal, but I have found that the stigma around living with family for a longer period of time has definitely gone away. And for some reason, the Chris Farley van down by the river skit has turned from a big joke into like people actually want the van life. So that's quite interesting as well.
Ups a daisy. We're gonna have to clean that up later.
You could live in government subsidized housing. This is another one that my husband and I did when we were first married. There are income qualifications for this one. We qualified and we got a government subsidized apartment. And the way that you pay for that is they take your income and they charge you 30% of whatever your income is, and that's your fee to live in the government subsidized apartment. We lived there for about a year, and they are really, really great for helping you get back on your feet. All it takes is a quick Google search. Now, slightly more expensive, but related to that is government assisted housing. We lived in a government assisted apartment, slightly different than subsidized because it was cheaper than the surrounding area and there are still income requirements. We lived there for a little bit less than a year when my husband got his first teaching job. With my husband's first teaching job, we were a family of 3 and our take home was indeed $2,000 a month. So we qualified for this assistance apartment at only $450 a month for about a year. And it was pretty big. It was a very nice, large 2-bedroom apartment, had washer and dryer there in the unit. Another idea is to move to a smaller area. It's well known that more rural areas cost less to live in, or you can move to a smaller place. So instead of a 3-bedroom, move to a 2-bedroom, you can share rooms. Okay, next up, transportation, planes, trains, and automobiles. Now in this area, it really, really feels like the math ain't mathin'. And I'm gonna say a few things that might sound completely crazy, but either I have done them or I have friends that have done them and they really work. Option 1, ditch the car. If you're a 2-car household, go down to 1. Yes, it's inconvenient. Yes, it is annoying, but vehicles cost a ton of money, even if you have a vehicle and it's paid off. You still got to pay for gas and insurance and wear and tear and repairs and registration and tags. It adds up. These are expenses you don't need in your life right now. So if you can ditch one, that will be the best solution for you, the best. So how are you going to get places if you have to ditch the car? So first of all, you can use public transportation if your area has that. Mine does not. My area does not have public transportation. We don't even have Uber. However, if you make friends with people when you need to go grocery shopping, you can go with a buddy. You can carpool to work. My husband did that when he was student teaching.
There you go.
If you do need to keep your car, you can help other people with the carpool and get some gas money to offset your expenses. Maybe you ditch your expensive car and get a cheaper car. Can you bike or walk to wherever it is that you're going to go? This is one that my husband's done. Now, we're lucky enough to live extremely close to his place of work. So he walks/rides a bike I'd say 90% of the year.
I bike to work now. Saves on gas, cheaper than a vasectomy.
And here's another option. This is one that we definitely did. How about you just stay home a little bit more? When our budget was extremely tight, we didn't want to pay the gas to actually go out. So we just stayed home a lot. And going along with cars and car expenses and insurance, have you shopped around for your car insurance lately? If you are gonna keep a car, please shop around. See if you can change your coverage a little bit to save you as much as possible. Let's do phones and internet, okay? So we live in a really interesting area where everybody has internet and everybody has a phone/smartphone. And there are ways to save here as well. Now, I grew up in a time where we did not have internet in our houses and we did not have smartphones. I didn't get my first smartphone until I was 31 years old. I had already had all 4 kids. I didn't have internet in my house until I had been married to my husband for 5 years. And this might feel controversial, but it is true. You actually do not need internet at your house.
Dude, is she for real?
Cancel it right now. You can get free internet at your local library. The library card is free and you can go in and use their computers, which means you don't need a computer, and their internet for free. And if you have some kind of a device that hooks up to Wi-Fi, I have done this, you can go to a local free Wi-Fi hotspot area. Again, your library, but also a McDonald's, a Chick-fil-A.
Never drop your nugget.
Where Christians go to eat 6 days a week. It's my pleasure.
I used to do schoolwork on a laptop at a Chick-fil-A for like 3 hours because the Wi-Fi was free. Now let's talk phones. You don't need a smartphone. I know it's crazy, but if you need a smartphone, there are ways around this. People are getting rid of old devices all the time for very inexpensive. It feels like the smartphone is like, oh, it's this year's fashion accessory. So we get the new ones all the time and the old ones just go to landfills. So you can get an old one for pretty cheap. And big companies like Verizon and AT&T could give you a pretty decent plan for about $25 a month if you have your own device. Or you could go even cheaper. You can use something like Mint Mobile. For my oldest son, when he was getting his first phone, I actually went to Walmart and got a little dumb flip phone, the track phone, and I preloaded like 3 months worth of phone calls for about $50, maybe a little bit less. And it didn't do anything other than like phone calls. That's it. Like he would make phone calls and answer phone calls, a little bit of texting, but that's it. Like if you have computer access at your library, you don't need it to do anything else. And it was very inexpensive. No contract, you could cancel it at any time. For a lot of people, medical expenses can be very high. You've got deductibles and co-pays, and you have to fight with the insurance company to get something that the doctor said was okay, but the insurance company doesn't think is okay. So there's ways around high medical bills as well. First of all, if you are low income, most likely you will qualify for Medicaid. This is another one that I used when I had young children. It paid for glasses and a dental cleaning, like well checkups for my baby, which was amazing not to have to worry about getting medical bills in all the time. There was another program, this is a state-by-state basis, for children for low-income families. The one I used in the state of Idaho was called CHIP. So this is for children with income that are too high for Medicaid. At the time, it cost me $5 a month to get health insurance for my kids, which means my husband's health insurance through work, I didn't have to add a bunch of dependents and make it more expensive. There are also free clinics and income-based clinics and hospitals that can help you out. And then when it comes to needing certain like at-home products, let's say like feminine hygiene products, what if you need diapers and wipes for children and things like that? One of my favorite hacks is to either contact the company and ask for samples, or this one, I did this one all the time, is I would send an email to the company. I would, this is mostly for diapers for me, because diapers were so expensive at the time, but I would email Huggies and Pampers and Loves and tell them how much I loved their products. And then they would send me coupons for free products. And all it takes is just a few minutes, a little email, and you can use like AI, ChatGPT to help you out with that. And then you can get free products for your house. Now let's talk about everything else, okay? This could be clothes and entertainment, furniture and all kinds of stuff. My friends, do not sleep on Facebook Marketplace. Buy, sell, trade, buy nothing groups. Mine in my local area has so much stuff, it's unreal. Don't sleep on your thrift stores. And if you feel like you don't have great thrift stores, because I've felt like that a lot in my area, go around again. We have a new thrift store in my area where everything is $1. Everything is $1. So you might have new ones kind of pop up. Now, what about entertainment? I've always lived in places where there is free entertainment put on by the city or organizations within the city. You can do like free music in the park. When I grew up in Dallas, we had Shakespeare in the park and that was free. There are vendors fairs that cater to kids and do like bounce houses and three-legged races and stuff for free. All you have to do is go to City of fill in the blank and look at their events calendar. I promise you there's going to be free stuff. Free museum tickets if you belong to certain banks. All national parks do 5 or 6 free entry days a year. So if you live closest to a national park, go on a free day. You don't even have to pay like the $35 entrance fee. You can go for $0. I've also done that one. I want to remind you that this is not forever. This is temporary. I lived this life pretty heavily from about 21 to 26 years old. This is how we journeyed out of that stage of life. Is we actually moved a couple of times for better jobs. We learned skills, got more education, moved again, and then still used all of the frugal habits that I talk about on my channel over and over again. We lived forever. Even when our income went up and our bills went down and we paid off our debt, we lived that way for years and years and years. And then one day we looked up and realized that we had hit the top of the mountain, that it all had paid off. And we were able to get to a place where I didn't have to sell plasma to buy groceries anymore. So if you find yourself in this phase right now, hang in there. It doesn't have to be like this for the rest of your life. With the beauty of the internet, you can learn basically any skill on the planet and you can make yourself more marketable. You can find basically any job you want. You don't have to have a college degree to make a great income anymore, but maybe you have to think outside the box a little bit. I know some people that dog sit in their home. That's their whole job, is they board dogs in their house. And it's enough to give them a pretty good living. How wild is that? Like, what a time to be alive. Living on $2,000 or less a month here in 2025 is challenging, but it is possible, especially if you take these tips that I've given to you today and then remind yourself that this is not forever and work your way out. Find some other really cool jobs, things you can do from home, things you can do online. Hang in there, my friends. I know you can do it. I believe in you. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. But wait, there's more. Going along with the topic of this video, I just wanted to give you a few little anecdotes. There were a few times in my 20s where things were so tight, I couldn't afford like a $1 extra at the grocery store. I had an extremely limited $25 a week grocery budget at the time. And because we weren't driving anywhere, I would put my daughter in the stroller and walk to the local grocery store. Fortunately, it wasn't too far, it was like 1.5 miles away. I couldn't buy more than what would fit in the stroller basket on the bottom either. So I had my $25 list, and this was the time before smartphones, so I had my little punch calculator, right? And I was adding things up as I was shopping, and sometimes I would have chicken on my list, and the chicken would put me over my $25 budget, which meant I couldn't buy chicken that week. I would look at some of my other meals and be like, maybe, you know, I can do leftovers on this meal to push into the next one. Chicken is off the list.
You wouldn't let her have a grape?
Joey doesn't share food!
And I wanted to buy a chapstick one week. And the chapstick was $1 at the checkout. And I think I was at $25.25. That was my total. And I did not have the $1 to buy the chapstick, so I left it there. I also remember moving into my first house when we bought our first house and getting that first water bill. I had budgeted about $80. When I got the first water bill and it was $150 and I did not have enough money to pay for it, I sat on the ground and cried. Called a family member and asked if I could borrow $100 to pay my utility bills so it wouldn't get shut off. Those moments are seared in my memory. And it's one of the reasons I feel so passionately about helping you get through those times or avoid those experiences so you don't have to sit on the ground and cry, and so you don't have to call a family member and ask for $100 so your utilities don't get shut off. And so you don't have to walk out of the grocery store not being able to buy the chapstick or a new sponge for your kitchen sink to wash dishes because it doesn't fit into your $25 that week. So I just hope you know that I've been there, I've felt all of those things, and I just wanna help you move past it if that's where you are right now, so those things are not a stress in your life anymore. I love you guys so much. Thanks so much for continuing to hang out with me. I'll see you in the next video.